Yeah, buddy. What is going on, everybody? It's Childish. We're back at it again with the next subscriber showcase. You all know what it is. It's the one episode out of the week where I take the opportunity to showcase the people that find me in the arena or I find them. They will go ahead and shoot me an email at childish402@gmail.com with the subject line subscriber showcase, and I will go ahead and record their arena defense as well as show the kind of pros and cons of their setup so you guys can learn from it and use that in an effort to improve your progression. Next one up here is Gambella. Gambella, y'all know what it is. Hashtag can I get a one shot. Gambella is another YouTuber out there. He's been doing it for quite a few months now. Small, growing, up and coming, right? He's just trying to do what he can. Big advocate of showcasing some PvP stuff as well as helping people out in the TOA setting. So if you haven't had an opportunity to check out his channel, please hit him up in the description down below. His YouTube link is down below. We're going to go ahead and showcase his arena defense and his arena units and then go ahead and showcase the fight. He is one of the luckier people out there, guys, having a wide variety of units. God bless this guy. He got it all right here. He is rocking Shiwu. He is rocking Villajewel. We got Zyros. And then we got Ritesh. So we'll kind of go ahead and start with the leader on this particular one. Shiwu, an amazing unit for arena defense or arena offense, whatever you're trying to look for. Having that AoE buff removal. Having a beneficial blocker, but of course, more importantly, having that universal speed lead that everyone craves. We got himself a Despair Revenge setup, pretty common build. He's going speed, hit point, accuracy. I see a combination of a lot of different things. Speed, hit point, speed, defense, hit point. Whatever it is that gets you the speed, the tankiness, and the accuracy that you need to make sure that you're landing those skills and removing these beneficial effects, effectively. So overall, not too shabby. He's sitting at 100% accuracy. 29k, not too shabby at all. I definitely would look to improve it over the course of the time. It's always nice to have a little bit of hit points on there. Or I've seen people that are trying to make a little bit more of a hybrid on him, making it so that he's tanky, speedy, but then has a little bit of damage. So I've seen like a speed hit point attack combination as well. Like I said, it all comes down to the substats that you get on these runes. If you can get some crazy substats, you'd be surprised as to what end game stats you can have at the end of the day. So overall, not too bad. Decent speed. It's going to have to improve as far as what you're trying to be competitive with. 180 speed. Generally the Chiwus that I see in the upper ranks they're going to be pushing 200. 200, 220 plus. So it's kind of something to shoot for. At the end of the day. But overall, not too bad for the level that you're at, sir. I like it a lot. Next one up, we got ourselves. Let's go ahead and look at his utility before we hit that damage base unit. We'll start with Villajewel. Okay, so Villajewel here is his Fire Archangel, bringing that immunity with it. Violent Will. So we'll kind of put that disclaimer out there. This is for all those that are new to the game and whatnot. This is something that you'll definitely want to pick up on. We see this time and again, where we're trying to we have units like this. We see a lot of YouTubers, streamers out there preaching about certain type of builds, certain type of combinations. But the optimal setup is the Violent Will. Everyone knows that with this particular unit, having the ability to remove all harmful effects, granting them immunity for 3 turns, and increasing the attack bars is just kind of a standard thing that you want to have. You want to have somebody with will out like that. It's a very, very common thing. But one of the things that people kind of mess up on is the fact that even though there's certain rune sets and subsets that are like the perfect set for the unit, if you can't get the overall stats, speed, defense, or whatever it is that you need in order to do the job that you're intended to do, that you're not gonna be able to be successful with what you're trying to do, right? So if you take a look at his build, he's running speed, crit damage, defense. So what he's telling me is that he wants to be speedy so that he goes first with respect to all the other units that he's bringing. He wants this one to do damage. as well as try to be speedy. And then of course he's trying to get a little bit of tankiness because of the fact that this guy does damage based on his defense, right? So he's rocking the defense on there. He has a high crit rate, high crit damage, but then he's also trying to be speedy. So me personally, when we're trying to use this, in the Guild Wars aspect, I mean, there's only a handful of people out there that I see still running defense, crit damage, defense villages. The majority of them are definitely, they definitely understand the value of speed when it comes to this unit, and that considering the fact that even though you can spec him for crit damage and whatnot, his damage is not actually not too bad when you're running the high amount of defense. The high amount of defense still gives you a reasonably decent amount of damage, in addition to helping him be just that much more tankier, especially if he has immunity on. People can't land a defense break, so it's going to be a little bit hard to take out, so on and so forth. So in this particular situation, you got yourself Villagel who is running at about 150 speed. Already looking at Chiwu and whatnot. You have Chiwu going beforehand there. Me personally, I'm a big fan of the Villagel speed defense pushing at 200 plus. In my eyes, this is the unit that I would want to go first. I would want Villagel to be the fastest out of his group so far, to push everybody's attack bar to the limit, have Chiwu remove all the harmful effects, have Ritesh follow through with the defense, AoE defense break, and then of course Zyros kind of finish up with there. So right now you can tell right away he's trying to do too much with this unit, guys. Take it for what it's worth. It's always cool to see units like this, bring that support, bring that damage down to so on and so forth. But you got to figure out what your intentions are with this unit. Is this unit is more of a support unit in all aspects of the game for you, or are you trying to make this unit do damage as well? And of course, for me, I value the support aspect on this unit more than the damage. You have a wide variety of units out there that's going to bring many ways of damage to the table. So I say focus on rocking, like a speed defense. Get his speed and his defense a lot higher, and then try to get those hit point substats where you can, so you can sit there at that like 20k mark. And get that defense up a little bit, and then of course, getting that speed, overall, relatively decent. So, that's the first kind of recommendation on that. Next one up is going to be Ritesh. We've actually commented, I talked to him a little bit on this particular unit. He actually has the ability, again, he's kind of doing that same concept where he's kind of falling into the bandwagon of, I understand that, certain root sets and subsets are going to be amazingly well. Now, he's not too far off the mark here. He's sitting at 60% crit rate, 173 crit damage. I think that's actually improvement. When I saw him last, he had about 45 crit rate, 170 crit damage, and I explained to him the value of critical rate over critical damage, and it's way more important to have yourself, in that 75-80%, higher threshold of critical rate with a lower amount of critical damage, because it's obviously more reliant, more consistent. You're not going to be doing the damage that you're intending to be doing with all this critical damage if you can't proc the critical rate. And for a unit that is, it's not like a multi-hit or whatnot, it's just one shot. You got to make sure if you're hitting them with that one shot that it's critting when you want it to crit. So, again, continuously work on these stats or whatnot. The speed substats, not too bad for your level. Obviously, we'd like to see that improve over the course of the time. You might have to take a look at your composition and see, as far as what is your goal, right? Again, this is another thing where you're trying to use your arena defense. You're trying to use these units for everything in the game, and if you're really set on using Ritesh, being a part of your Guild War defense or arena defense, there is many videos out there, many people out there that understand the value of a extremely speedy yet tanky Ritesh. I mean, obviously with this particular combination, you're heavily reliant on his third skill, guys. If you're not familiar with Trick of Wind, you're heavily reliant on making sure that this guy uses his Trick of Wind so that he can defense break the units, and then have your big whammer Zyros follow through with the AoE attack. And so with regards to this, even though damage is nice, believe it or not, guys, Beast Monks do decent amount of damage when you spec them for that for extra HP over HP crit damage HP. Obviously, the goal is still to have a high amount of critical rate, regardless if you're going for critical damage on 4. But believe it or not, if you somehow manage to get the speed that you want, going triple HP and put yourself at 45 to 50k HP, you'd be surprised as to what damage you can do. In addition to that, considering the composition that you're running, I'd like to see, since I said I'd like to see that Villagel, pushing that 200 plus speed, I would love to see Ritesh have enough speed to be in sync with your Villagel, so that, after your Villagel goes and then your Chiwu goes, Ritesh follows through. And right now, there's a huge gap between all the units. Your speed syncing is completely out of whack, unfortunately. But again, that's why we make these videos, guys, to just kind of look at it from another side, another set of eyes, and so you can kind of, make the changes that you need to make with your own game and help you with your progression. Okay, so far, just kind of rehashing. We got a speedy Chiwu that is going before his Villagel. We need Villagel to go first, Chiwu to follow second with the AoE buff removal and with the extra stuns. We will have Ritesh come on board with the AoE defense break, assuming that all works well and everything is synced. And then we're going to be following through with the Zyros here. So again, Violent Revenge on Ritesh. There's nothing wrong. Violent Revenge, Violent Will, Violent Nemesis all works. But again, take a look at what we're bringing to the table. I think you're going to have to play around with like a speed hit point combination when it comes to this Ritesh and what you're trying to do. And then, kind of go from there. Last but not least, we got ourselves Zyros. Again, rocking the Rage Will. I like the Will factor. If you're going to use it in the arena, then it's definitely something that you have to consider, being a part of. Now, considering the fact that this is not a full-blown speedy composition that you know that 9 times out of 10 you are going to get the first turn, not going to have any issues, so on and so forth. That being said, because of the fact that you're going with the YOLO kind of setup, I like the YOLO setup, but not in this situation where there's a good chance that you're not going to be the first one to go. Obviously in the offense you can control the composition that you bring versus the opponent you do, so that's going to be a little bit more easier for you. But if you're trying to focus this on being able to utilize this unit on the arena defense, then you're going to have to mix and match here. With Zyros, because of the fact that we're running a heavy damage based thing, we're heavily relying on him using his third skill, which obviously everyone knows it doesn't always going to happen. So I'm a big advocate of Violent Will if you can make it work. And again, since he has good base attack and he has the ability to run a leader skill, even though you're not using his leader skill on here, I'd like to play around with your runes to see what kind of speed you can get. Again, you got to think about the composition on whole. If you improve your composition to where everyone is kind of a speedier unit and you're trying to sync them up, then you know that a 130 speed Zyros is not going to be properly synced with a futuristic 200 and some odd plus Villagel at the end of the day. So consider the fact that you're going to have to make some changes. Again, overall, looking at the critical rate on all the units, guys, making sure that you're getting yourself a good amount of critical rate. Obviously, if you're running compositions that are using Seeks, that are using the Water Horse, you're using compositions that are giving you that 30% critical rate, that is great. But at the end of the day, your goal is to, improve your unit so that you can have, you don't have to be so reliant on particular units to bring in. And since you're not using any critical rate buffer on this particular group, you're going to have to continuously work on that critical rate to kind of get it up there. All your units kind of show a little bit of lower critical rate, so on and so forth. I think I saw some random units. I know you got a couple here floating around with lower critical rate, 46, but so on and so forth. But of course, those are other units there. Not too worried about it. There's a 53 right there. So continuously work on that, my man. And again, so in this particular comp, playing around with the speed seeking, the rune builds that you do on some of these units like Villagel. See what you could do. I noticed that you did have a Violent Will Molly. I really would love to see you incorporate Molly into the mix, with regards to your team. I mean, maybe not in that particular comp, that you have right there. But I mean, Molly can definitely, improve that arena defense. I love her passive. I love what she brings to the table. She definitely is a showstopper when it comes to people's compositions of what you could do. So you have a wide variety of units to kind of mix and match to see what works best for you. But at the end of the day, with what you got right now, just consider my recommendations, take it with a grain of salt, and see what you can do in an effort to improve it. Here's another unit right here with a very, very low critical rate. Got to get that critical rate up, my man, for sure, for sure. So again, Gambella, thank you for letting me make this video for you. Shout out again to Gambella and his YouTube channel. His link is in the description down below. And for all of you guys that are watching, hopefully you were able to take some of this information, utilize it in your game so you can improve your stuff or whatnot. Even though there's many people out there recommending a lot of different stuff, you really got to look at what you can bring to the table and what's gonna work best for you in all aspects of the game. And if you are truly focused on arena defense, then you're going to have to choose certain units to do certain things. Certain units can do a multitude of things, but if you try to spec them to do 5-in-1 things or whatnot, you're not going to get the complete value of the unit. You can be okay at everything, or you can be great at 1 or 2 things. You know what I'm saying? So make the necessary changes you can, and I know that your arena defense will improve. Okay. That is it, guys. Thank you all for tuning in for this episode of Subscriber Showcase. It's your boy Childish or ChildishPlays checking out. Take care, and we will see you next time, guys. We're out.